Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be analyzing waves and going over my thoughts on the price action. So if you are new to the channel and you want to show some support, please leave a like and subscribe. So first I want to talk about this red zone. In the short term, we're seeing a bounce off of this zone, and it is a pretty strong bounce from the lows. We're up about 110%. So obviously this is nice. We're seeing some follow through and some continuation, which is a great sign. We're also consolidating above this orange zone, which is also a very positive look on this chart. If we look at this red zone, we can see how historically it has been a major area of support and resistance. So we can see how it was pretty strong resistance in December of 2018. This was sort of the last peak before ultimately continuing this bear market trend to this all-time low. We also see how this was the peak in August of 2020, pretty defined peak where we came back down, we consolidated, and following the breakout of this level, we came back down and retested it as support. So we flipped it from resistance to support, and kind of the move following that was this move up to a new all-time high. So now that we've bounced off of this level once again, the chart looks a lot better. We're seeing some support being held, and we're seeing a key reclaim of this orange zone. So the fact that we were below this for such a short time is pretty bullish, considering how it's sort of this failed bear breakdown where bears were unable to hold this as resistance, and seeing as how it's an extremely important level of where we bounced in March of 2022. Also, this sort of double peak in 2018, that just kind of makes this even more important. So we have some confluence with kind of this failed breakdown and this bounce off support and a reclaim of this zone. So it is a very positive looking chart at the moment. I would expect if we hold this as support and consolidate further, then most likely we will see a retest of this upward sloping trend line. So if we go back to December of 2019 and April and May of 2020, we can see how this was key support. We also bounced off of this in March of this year, so it is a pretty interesting trend line, and right now we have seen some sort of rejection off of the bottom of it. So I would expect later on in a few weeks or months that we would ultimately retest this trend line, and when we retest it will ultimately dictate the price that it ends up being. As you can see, it's rising. So if we were to test it say in October of this year, it would correspond to roughly $17. If we were to retest it again today, it's only at $11. So it really depends on when we do test it, but I expect that we would probably consolidate in price action above this level and then make our way back up and then retest it. And whether or not we can get back above it will ultimately dictate if we are able to start trending back up to some of these higher levels and some of these peaks here, such as the one at $23, and then ultimately the price action upwards at $30 to $40. So I would also expect, though, if we are unable to hold this as support and we start breaking down below it, then most likely we would retest this red zone here. So if we were to break down below it and hold it as resistance, which is not out of the question, I think this is a likely possibility if Bitcoin is, say, trending down to the low $25,000 range. But if we are to flip this as resistance, I would expect at the very least a retest of this red zone as support. And this doesn't have to be a bearish look. We could have this double bottom off of this level, and that would be good for price action as well. But I would expect that whether or not we hold the orange zone will ultimately dictate the price action in the next coming weeks and months. So I would keep an eye out on this level, considering how important it is. And again, if we just go back to prior cycles, we can see how important it was. Following the breakdown of this level, we had two major rejections that sort of led price action to new lows. So obviously it is a very important level, and I would just keep watching it. If we are seeing some bouncing off of this level, that would be very nice and very bullish for the chart, and vice versa. Breaking down below it and holding it as resistance would kind of warrant a retest of this red zone. So that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and as always, I will see you in the next one.